I did one Friday. Oh, no. This is
Is that gluten-free hair color?
Yeah, and it only comes here. I'm GMO. Not GMO. No, there was this restaurant in Grand Rapids that had a commercial near like a Chinese or something like that. And at the end of their commercial, this old lady goes, "Not GMO."
Colby was in Atlanta not so long ago, and he sent me a picture of a Chinese restaurant. It said, like, Chinese things, and the name is Re-Delivery. Like, in like a neon sign.
Oh no.
Like, custom-made neon sign, Re-Delivery.
Those are very expensive.
And you know, like, Bob down the street was like, I'm not going to tell him. Yeah. No problem. They get it. Right, JB?
Yeah, you call it
I never called him.
They say swear words.
Dude, okay, I saw that the owner and like his son or somebody in the like Smiths at like 11 o'clock at night one night, and they were like fighting, like no joke, fighting each other, like yelling at each other in Chinese, and, like screaming and like hitting each other in the head.
Are you serious?
Yeah, like oh, and like just smacks them.
Oh man, you should have recorded that.
Oh, it would have been funny. But anyway, I'm being recorded now on YouTube. So we are on. I know I'm on page 15, but we're on page 13 for you guys. So the first I, involvement. Involvement.
There's this girl who went to school with, and she was Chinese. Well,
Great.
she was actually
Sorry.
and she used to smack people in the head with her foot.
What?
Yeah, her name was Chelsea Chu.
Chelsea Chu?
She would smack people with her flip flop. She was upset. She would use her flip flop just that she would take out the
Alright. First Thessalonians. I like to abbreviate first Thess, and then Neil gets mad at me. He says that's not how you say it. First Thess. Say that around Neil. He'll be patient with you, and he won't say anything. But inwardly, he's cringing. Whenever I tweet or like put a Facebook post up, or especially for the church, I'm always like, Neil is gonna like edit this, which is why I give things to Neil to edit before I post them sometimes. Chapter 2, 1 Thessalonians chapter 2. For you yourselves know, brethren, that our coming to you was not in vain, but after we had already suffered and been mistreated in Philippi, as you know, we had the boldness in our God to speak to you the gospel of God amid much opposition. For exhortation does not come from error or impurity or by way of deceit, but just as we have been approved by God to be entrusted with the gospel, so we speak, not merely as pleasing men, but God who examines our hearts. In skip to verse 7. But we prove to be gentle among you, or the examples, right? As a nursing mother tenderly cares for her own children. Having so fond an affection for you, we were well pleased to impart to you not only the gospel of God, but also our own what? Our own selves, our own lives. Because you had become very dear to us. In verse 13, we can read more of it a second time, verse 13. For this reason, we also constantly thank God that when you received the word of God, which you heard from us, you accepted it not as the word of men, but what it really is, the word of God, which affirms its work in you. Believers. Pray. pray, and we'll discuss some of this as we get to it. Is that clear, Jesus? Because my eyes are bad, so it's fuzzy for me. That's worse. Hey, let's pray. Father, we thank you for this time, opportunity to gather, to study your word, to study how to help people, how to come alongside of one another, and to speak truth, to speak wisdom from your word, not our own wisdom. What we have to say is futile and stupid. Oftentimes, yet your word is true. So we thank you for these testimonies of Paul speaking your word to this church, and they're believing because they believe your word. And may we too speak your word to others and allow your power and authority to do its work. Use us as your instruments to fulfill the work of His Word. Amen. This is a sweet letter. We've preached not through it, we've preached a few sections of 1 Thessalonians a few times. It's a very pastoral letter. It's not considered one of the pastorals because it's not written to a pastor, but you see Paul's pastoral heart. Not only his, but if you look at chapter 1, verse 1, Paul, Silvanus, and Timothy. So these three guys are the ones who are ministering to this church. So you see Paul's heart here as a he says, we were gentle among you as a nursing mother tenderly cares for her children. I mean, a mom who is nursing their child is very tender, very passionate. So Paul saying that's how we were. We were very patient, compassionate. We were very just tender-hearted towards you. And then he also says later on in verse 11, but we're also exhorting and encouraging and imploring each one of you as a father with his own children. So Paul's using parenting terminology here to the church, is saying, look, we were like spiritual parents to you. We had such a dear just bond with you as a parent does with his own child. Paul's not referring to himself as a woman. That's not what Paul's getting at there in verse 7. So we can't imply that, as many people do. Like, see, he's a woman, but it's stupid. He's just using an analogy. But that is a good segue, intro into what we're talking about today with involvement. And remind us, somebody other than me, remind us, what are we studying in this class? Obviously, we can counsel, but this class of methodology is going to include 8 what? 8 eyes? Okay, and what are those? What are those 8 eyes? Big what? Big deal. 8 eyes, like eyeballs, like what? Okay, letter eyes. Okay? Again, this is, and these things are these eyes, again, we pretend to be Baptist here, so they all have to be the same letter. That's true. That makes sense. It's easier to understand the 8 eyes. These are a methodology for how we go about discipling somebody in a more formal setting, typically, or even informally. Very, very similar. And then also in more formalized biblical counseling, this is the methodology by which we go about doing that. This method is very unique and very distinct to biblical counseling alone, as opposed to even Christian integrative psychology or secular psychology. This is very unique, starting with the first one. Typically, you go to secular counseling, there's no involvement. Sometimes there is. Sometimes they're genuinely concerned or genuinely care for people. That's great. That's not always. It's more rare than not. You see, I talked to one person one time, and I went to a counselor, he said, look, if you see me outside the office, don't pretend you don't talk. That's not what we do. That's not what the Bible calls us to do. But before we start these notes, any questions from last week? Sorry, was that?
I was gonna say that just seems brutal. Like you pour your heart and soul out to somebody and then you know what I mean.
And then paid me $500 for it just our session. Yeah, I think most people probably would say that. That's right. You guys see the movie What About Bob? You haven't seen the movie? Okay, What About Bob is a classic psychology mockumentary, sort of. So what it is, it's Bill Murray. It plays like this guy who has all these problems. So it's a comedy. And then Richard Dreyfuss is a counselor. He does a very Rogerian style counseling where he just asks questions and doesn't give any advice or any answers. He just stares at him and has the counselee come up with his own solutions to them. That's like his style of counseling, which is a real style of counseling. And the movie's kind of really fun. And it's just funny because then Bill Murray gets attached to Bob is the character. Bob is attached to the counselor, calls him like on his personal vacation, shows up at his house. His family falls in love with him. The counselor tries to kill Bob, and the counselor ends up going crazy. It's really, really funny. But there's in that movie, although it's making fun of some things, it does also show the reality that in more secularized counseling, there's no involvement really outside of the counseling office. Like read my book, do a few things, come back for another 30-minute session, and we'll charge your insurance $300. But with biblical counseling, we want to be involved in their lives, and so when we talk about involvement, let's see how many words. There we go. So technically, I don't know how to do this. So there's two types of involvement that we talk about with biblical counseling. I'm not sure how full your notes are with this. Is there anything in there?
Yeah.
Great. So primary type of involvement is helping them in their relationship or their involvement with Christ. Colossians 1:28-29. Does anyone know that by heart? We proclaim Him. No say? That's verse 29. Yeah. We proclaim Him, admonishing every man and teaching every man. I forgot what the second one was. With all wisdom, so that we may present every man in Christ. And then, as Drew said, verse 29. For this purpose I labor, striving according to His power, which mightily works within me. So, again, the first verse there, 28, is really what we're looking at. Their relationship with Christ. Colossians 1:28. Of helping this person become more like Christ is of primary importance in counseling, right? That's just a goal of biblical counseling. To glorify God. And how's that? And one of the ways in which we are glorifying God in counseling is by helping them become more and more like Christ. That's primary involvement. Secondary involvement doesn't mean it's less significant or less important, but is our involvement, our relationship with the person we're meeting with. Our personal relationship with this person. One of the ways in which we're able to enhance your relationship with Christ, to help them to grow to become more like Christ, is when they're able to trust us. They're able to look at you as somebody they want to listen to, as somebody who gives them wise counsel because you open the Word. They know that you're not faking it. Oftentimes, pastors will say, or some of the professors will say, look, pastor, when you go into a church, it'll take about 7 years before your people will trust you. 7 years. And then you'll start to get traction. 7 years. You'll start to trust you. Obviously, that's not true for everybody. found that that's pretty common. But if you're in a more intimate setting like discipling or counseling, usually that involvement, that trusting happens a lot quicker. But if we're just giving our own thoughts or our opinions, the involvement that we have with them might not be consistent. And involvement starts from the first session, meet with them the first time, to the last one. It's something that you don't just do once. It's something that you're doing all the time. And it's really just basically building friendship. If we're talking. If you want to change the 8 I's to whatever, to other letters, you could just call this biblical friendship. Biblical friendship. Right? A good friend of mine wrote a book called Company We Keep. It's called. And it's about just being a good friend. That's pretty much what we're talking about here. So how do we be good friends to people we're talking with? How do we help and gain involvement? Number one is involvement is developed through compassion for the counselor. You just say for compassion for the person you're meeting with. I use counseling as a technical term for the person you manage. And counselor, the counselee. That's just what I'm using, but I'm trying not to be as professional. I'm trying not to use a bunch of professional jargon. So, involvement is developed, brought about through compassion. This can be seen through a couple different examples. Number one, through the life of Christ, through the life of Jesus. Now, we'll have a few verses for you guys to open up to. Let me open to Matthew. All these actually Matthew 9, 35, 39, Brooke. Matthew 14, 12 to 14. I'm going to grab that. Anyone, JB? Thanks. Let's see. Matthew 15, 29, 32. Thanks, Derek. Luke 7, 11 through 15. True, thank you. And then I'll read Hebrews 4, 15 to 16. So whoever has Matthew 9 there, 35 through 38, Brooke, go ahead and read that.
And Jesus went throughout all the cities and villages, teaching in their synagogues and proclaiming the gospel of the kingdom, healing every disease and every affliction. When he saw the crowds, he had compassion on them, because they were harassed and helpless, like sheep without a shepherd. And he said to his disciples, the harvest is plentiful, but the laborers are few. Therefore pray earnestly to the Lord of the harvest to send out laborers into his harvest.
That's great. What was he doing? What was Jesus doing in that text? He was healing people, helping them physically with some of their physical needs. He was teaching as well, and their spiritual needs. He was teaching them. But he said he felt compassion upon them. Why? They're sheep without a shepherd. You guys ever seen sheep without a shepherd? They're just wandering around. We went to this every year we do an annual leadership retreat. One went down to Cora, Wyoming. There's like 3 people in the town. And we were going down this road to go shoot guns. That's what you do at a leadership retreat, to shoot guns. There's just this herd of sheep on the hill. And they're just scattered all over the place because there's no shepherd. There's some down in the water, some like on this precipice. It wasn't very far drop. It was like 10, 15 feet. Some like up on the hills, and some just over here, just scattered all around. It's a good picture of that. They're just scattered everywhere and not doing anything because they were without a shepherd. That's what Christ felt with people. They're lost or hurting. They're just scattered. So Christ had compassion on people because of their spiritual needs. Right? Matthew 14. Who had that? JB. I volunteered you. Good job.
His disciples came and took away the body of Mary. They went in the glory of Jesus. When Jesus heard about John, he withdrew from there and they were going to a secluded place by himself. And when the people heard of this, all of them were going to the city. When he came ashore, he saw a large crowd and felt compassion for them, feeling thirsty.
Yeah. Okay, so John the Baptist just died. He got his head chopped off. They bury him. Jesus goes off by himself to go pray. He needs some alone time. Jesus' alone time was prayer. And then people come after him. And he doesn't say, hey, I need my quiet time. I need my alone. I need my me time. He has compassion. And he heals. I've gotten phone calls late at night. Hey, I need help. And I could just say, well, that stinks, man. I'm off duty. Bye. I guess I could say that. That wouldn't be very compassionate. Like they said, hey, look, I stubbed my toe. Well, I'm sorry. Get a Band-Aid. I'm going to date my wife. See you later. But hey, it's a crisis. It's a crisis. We have compassion on people, not just when it's convenient for us, but like with Jesus, when it's inconvenient. Matthew 15, 29 through 32.
Departing from there, Jesus went along by the Sea of Galilee, and having gone up on the mountain, they stood sitting there. And a large crowd came to him, bringing with them those who were lame, crippled, blind, mute, and many others. And they laid them down at his feet, and he healed them. So the crowd marveled as they saw the mute speaking, and the crippled restored, the lame walking, and the blind seeing, and they glorified God and Abraham.
You see it, and you see the compassion of Christ. And sorry, where did you stop? All right, man, go ahead. Let's read this.
Jesus called his disciples to him and said, "Have compassion for the people, because they have remained with me now 3 days and have nothing to eat. I do not want to send them away hungry, for they might faint on the way."
That's good. So Jesus is healing people because he loves them. He's doing what is prophesied about him. And then he says, they've been with me 3 days. They're hungry. If I send them away, some of them may die. They'll be flu, they'll faint, they'll die in the wilderness. Because they're not like in a city. They're out in the middle of the desert. The deserts aren't the best place to hang out for 4 days. Jesus feeds them miraculously. Because he has compassion. He loves people. He loves people. That's the point. He loves people. We need to love people as well. When we meet with somebody, just have compassion on them. Love people. And maybe at times meet their physical needs, although that's not a first priority for us. We can do that. James says, you say you have faith, but you don't have any works. You see somebody who's hungry and cold, be warm and filled, brother. See you later. Have a good day. Jesus goes, yeah, that's what kind of faith is that. Without works, without deeds, without fruit bearing, right? And so it's we're able to do that. Luke 7, 11 to 15. I don't know, I have to look for it. Oh, it's in my version it says coffin. It's not in the. Oh, yeah. The bearers. So those who are carrying the dead bodies. Yeah, that bears, those who are carrying it. Oh, so that's like the column. Anyway, so again, there's a widow already, and then her son dies. What's significant about that? Just that in the historical context, she's completely destitute. Being a widow, she's already kind of an outcast, but she has an adult son, so she's taken care of, and she can still take place in some things in society. But when her son dies, she's completely abandoned by society, completely alone. Jesus feels compassion upon her for that. He heals her son, brings him back to life. He sees compassion, genuine compassion. And in Hebrews 4, I'll read that for us, 15 to 16. For we do not have a high priest who cannot sympathize with our weaknesses, but one who has been tempted in all things as we are, yet without sin. Verse 16, as a result, right? Therefore, which means like because of, as a result of, let us draw near with confidence to the throne of grace so that we may receive mercy and find grace to help in time of need. Christ is our sympathetic Prince. He understands our weaknesses. He understands our temptations. He's been tempted in every way as we are. Now, I'm going to touch on that verse because it's been very, very misunderstood in our day. So, many people say, well, look, Jesus never sinned, so he cannot understand what it's like to be tempted day in and day out because he never sinned. He doesn't know what it's like to sin. He doesn't know what it's like to give in to temptation. So how can Jesus sympathize with us? Okay, yeah, he suffered temptation. Think about it this way. This is why I respond to people. So, I hear you. Yeah, Jesus never sinned. He never gave in to that. But imagine never once in thought, word, or deed for 33 years of your life. That's a long time. Never once in my thoughts, in my words, in my heart, in my actions, having a sinful thought, a sinful word, a sinful action. But being tempted a lot by everything going on around me, by being tempted by that, and never give in to that. That is bearing up, and that is the full weight of temptation upon your shoulders. We've never experienced that, but Christ has, and he knows how to help us in the midst of temptation better than anyone ever could, because he never gave in to it. Now, another important question, just real briefly. Did any of Jesus' temptations ever come from within his own heart? Or were they all just merely external? Is that good? Yeah, why? Totally agree with that. It's fully God, fully man. Yeah, if Jesus had any sort of internal temptations, that means what? He was imperfect. That means that his desires at that point were not fully divinely. But there were sinful desires. If we say that Jesus had temptations from within, then there was some sort of sinful desire that we can never ever have. Because the place where we see Christ's temptations the most, two places: the desert, Satan. That's just external. Eat this food, do this, and then where else? The garden. External temptations. Never anything internal. He says, my food is to do the will of the Father. His desires are not sinful. Anyway, besides the side note, just want to make sure. Not only can we see compassion in the life of Christ, we see the life of also in the life of the Apostle Paul. You can also look at all the apostles like Peter, James. I guess James actually wasn't an apostle. Brother, James is your wife. James' half brother. You can look at all the other apostles, but primarily through Paul, as we just read in 1 Thessalonians 1 and 2. I didn't put it up there, but underneath those other two verses in Acts and Philippians, you can include 1 Thessalonians, really 1 through 2, really 1 through 3. It's really a prayer and encouragement of the church, first 3 chapters. But Acts 20, go ahead and turn there. Let's just all turn there. This is a very great passage to look at for Paul's example here. Again, with the book of Acts, we need to be careful of taking everything out of here and saying this is what we need to do, but we see an example of Paul, of his compassion and love for people in Acts chapter 20, verse 17. So from Miletus he sent to Ephesus, and he called to them and to himself the elders of the church. So he's on his way to Rome at this point, comes to this town called Miletus, and he sends, hey, send somebody to Ephesus, bring the elders of the church to me so I can talk to them and hang out with them for a little bit before I go and maybe die in Rome. He doesn't know what's going to happen in Rome. Wait, no, that's a different section. Sorry. My book of Acts is off. Anyway, he's going to, he calls the church in Ephesus, come here. He says this verse 15. And when they had come to him, he said to them, you yourselves know from the first day that I set foot in Asia how I was with you from the whole time, serving the Lord with all humility, with tears, with trials, which came upon me through the plots of the Jews, how I did not shrink from declaring to you anything that was profitable in teaching you publicly and from house to house. And then in verse 31, therefore be on alert, remembering that night and day for a period of how many years? 3 years. I did not cease to admonish each one of you with tears. Compassion, love for people. Philippians 1. This is Paul's letter to the church in Philippi. Starts out, most of his letters with some sort of encouragement. Verse 3. I thank my God in all my remembrance of you, always offering prayer with joy in my every prayer for you all, in view of your participation in the gospel from the first day until now. So Paul didn't view them as you're just like some weird church people. You are participants in the gospel ministry with me. Verse 6. This is a great verse to encourage people with too, by the way. For I'm confident of this very thing, that he who began a good work in you will perfect it, or will complete it until the day of Christ Jesus. God will perfect it. God will complete his work. And in verse 8, for God is my witness how I long for you all with the affection of Christ and Jesus. And you see Paul's love for them, Paul's heart for this church. Fun Bible trivia. What is the only book and letter of Paul's that he was not writing any sort of commendation to the church? To that church. What was that? Galatians, yeah. He just says, greetings from the Lord Jesus Christ. What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? Who's bewitched you, you foolish Galatians, right? You foolish Galatians. Oh, can you imagine reading that? Like all those churches in Galatia, like, oh. Is this right? Is this the right letter? That's a good sermon. Anyway, see that in the life of the Apostle Paul. Okay? Also with the idea of compassion for counseling, we need to look at a few things of how is compassion developed? How do we gain compassion for people? A few things. I don't know what I have here. Putting ourselves in their shoes. Understanding where they've come from. Get into their life story a little bit. Again, we don't just say, that stinks. What's for dinner? I can smell that cooking right now. You know what? See you next week. Bye. I had a professor, or I guess a teacher in high school. He did that. He was waiting outside. I don't know what he was doing. Met some homeless lady. And I was like, she was asking about, like, sir, can you tell me, like, about God? So, yeah, see this gentleman over here? He'll talk to you about Jesus. Go talk to him. Why did he do it? Because he really wanted to go home and eat his wife's homemade mac and cheese that day. It's like, are you kidding me? And he confessed it for the whole class. He didn't have to. He was like, I am so ashamed of myself. I love food. And I was thinking, man, it stinks. This lady's like homeless and like wants to talk about Jesus. Oh, this guy did. This is student. A friend of mine. Actually, ironically, doesn't know Christ. But we can't think that way. Well, what's for dinner? Or, man, I'm glad I don't struggle like so-and-so. Like, we're hearing somebody's story, like, man, I'm glad I don't think that way. You know, I'm so much better than you. We can't think in those terms, but we're not. In Philippians 1:8. I'm affectionate for you. We need to realize how much we've been forgiven. Matthew 18, verse 21 through 33. We're not reading it right now, but it's the parable of the unforgiving servant. You guys remember that, right? It's a king. It's a parable. It's a king. He says, "You slave, come here. You owe me 500 talents or whatever it is. Give me. You owe me so much money. It's an unrecognizable number. You owe me that much money. Pay it back, or like I'm going to discipline. Like you're going to be in jail forever. Your family's going to be in jail in servitude." He says, "Please forgive me." The king says, "Fine, I'll forgive you. You're dead, wiped clean." And then the same slave goes and finds a fellow slave who owes him 100 denarii, which is like 100 days' wages. Denarii is about what somebody earned in a day as a laborer. He says, "Pay me back what you owe me." He says, "Look, give me some time, I'll pay it back." He says, "No. I'll throw you in jail till you come back." It's 100 denarii. It's nothing compared to the amount of, like, the $2 trillion he owed you. He was unwilling to forgive his fellow slave. He didn't have any compassion. He didn't recognize really the source of his sin or the immensity of his sin. We need to be able to forgive to others as much as we forgive by Christ. Obviously, there's much more to that. But we need to realize how much we've been forgiven. I'm not sure if that's and that's a way for us to have compassion for others. Yeah, maybe their sin is a lot greater than yours. So what? Maybe they're probably going to be a little more thankful. Christ says, who's going to be more thankful? The person who has been forgiven this much money or this much money? Oh, that much. So it is with the sinner. The sinners we get forgiven an infinite amount of sins will be more understanding, more thankful, more grateful than someone who's sinned a little bit. Obviously, all sin is incredible in that way. But you get the idea. We notice what's going on in their lives. The child is sick, they're sick constantly, somebody died, marriage is in trouble, kids are in trouble, their job's in trouble, their whatever is in trouble. Life's just hard. Why? Because we're a fallen, broken world. Our bodies are fallen and broken. Maybe this so-and-so hasn't been in church for a while. Maybe they've been in a bad church for a while. They're just unclear on certain things. Whatever it is. And what's been going on in your life, Judy?
That's why it's so much more important for the concept of comprehension.
Good, yeah. Explain that. Why?
Just so we can see the eternity of that payment
Good.
by Christ.
Yeah.
And then we're compassion towards people. We see ourselves on the side of the application of Christ's payment.
Good. Yeah, having an attitude of worship for Christ, thankfulness for Christ. And you know what? We'll look at this later, but also just for us to be in their shoes. This just means we need to ask them more questions. Understand their life, which is on the personal data inventory form. Those aren't all the questions you should ask, but those are the primaries to ask more questions. Not only how is compassion developed, but how is it manifested in them? Tell people you care for them. You open your mouth and you say those words. I care for you. I love you. I can truly say that to somebody else. I love you. That's why I say these things to you. I said to somebody not too long ago, who was struggling through something. I said, brother or sister, whoever it was, I love you. I say these things because I care for you. I want you to be in the body of Christ. To be fully come underneath just his care. You need to say that to me. If you don't mean it, then don't say it. You need to mean it. Paul says that we share our lives with you. Not only that, but we need to pray for them. We need to work hard to help them. We need to pray for them. Working hard to help them. That will look like meeting with them, maybe at inconvenient times. Maybe that means reading a book with them when we don't have time. We don't think we have time, but we need to make the time to read something with them. So why? So we can walk through this book with them. It's the idea of shepherding somebody, right? Shepherding somebody is hard work. The job of a shepherd, or really as Eric said yesterday, the job of a sheepdog, is hard work, isn't it? It's difficult work. Of course, there's great reward in it with a nice head pat. Good job, doggy. Right? That's how sheepdogs get rewarded. Is good dog. The dogs are stoked. My dog, I have a dog. She's half Red Heeler and half Great Pyrenees. So she's a herding dog, and she's a very protective dog. And so we also have foxes and coyotes surrounding our house. And at one point, I saw a fox on this side of the fence, and I just so happened to have my gun in my hand too, pointed at the fox. But then I heard this barking. I see my dog just chasing this thing, doing its job, protecting our livestock, which are chickens and ducks, protecting our house from this fox, and it just chases it. It was the funniest thing ever to see this fox like, what's that? And I turn around like, oh, stink, and just runs off and just runs. It was great. My dog is like catching up, but then Willow came back, and just like super stoked, and I just give her a good old head pat. It's a good job, dog. She just sat down like, I'm done. This is my job. That's what we are with Christ. We do what we're told. We do what we're trained to do, and we come back and Jesus, like when we die, and Jesus says, "Good job, good dog, good sheep dog." Yeah. Here's and obviously that's the analogy there's sheepdog is for pastors and elders, but still, when we're doing the work of counseling, we're doing the work of shepherding of souls, right? To some extent. And that takes time, it takes energy, it takes effort. Sheep bite. They headbutt, don't they? You guys read Eric's Psalm 23 sermons. Sheep will headbutt you like you have a bucket of food, and sheep will like ram you because they're dumb and they're rebellious. Yeah, so Brick just got knocked over by a sheep because like the sheep hated me. Because of your hair. Just kidding. It was red. But so when we meet with people, we are a sheep meeting with other sheep. Sometimes sheep are meeting to other sheep. Aren't they? And they're going to headbutt them. And so we have to be ready for that. Oh, the sheep hurt me. Stuck in my toe. Big deal. Turn around and go talk to them again. We need to work hard. We need to pray for them. Philippians 1:9, if you're already there, Paul says what? "And this I pray, that your love may abound still more and more in real knowledge and all discernment." Ephesians chapter 1 and chapter 3, twice in that book, Paul prays for the church in Ephesus. In 1 Thessalonians 3, he prays for them there, in chapter 3, he prays for them there. And into chapter 4, and there's some prayers in there as well, I believe. So Paul prays for his people, and for us being on our knees for people, and with them as well, praying with them. Usually when I'm in a counseling session, I pray typically twice. Sometimes I only pray once, twice before and after. Why? Because I need the help of the Holy Spirit to like use His Word to change. And in my study or when I'm preparing to meet somebody and jotting down notes of things I want to say, verses I want to bring up, and things I want to teach, I have to be in prayer about them. Why? Because I have to acknowledge it's not up to me. This isn't about me and what I know. I need to be in prayer. Lastly, we need to rejoice. And there's more to say. We need to rejoice with people. We need to weep with them as well. Cry with people. John 11, let's just say John 11. If that says John 15 in your notes, it should say John 11, 35. John 15, 35 does not exist. So I'm not telling you to write anything new. Don't make it up. John 11, 35 does exist, and it's one of the shortest verses in the Bible. Depending on your version, there's shorter verses, but depending on other people's version, this is the shortest. John 11, 35 says what? Jesus wept. Okay? He cried. Now, we could go into the whole theology of why did Jesus cry, because he knew he was raised Lazarus from the dead. Jesus hated sin. He wept over humanity's sin and death. He hated death. Christ hated death, so he conquered death. Right? John 1 Corinthians 15. That's why Jesus wept, because he saw the scene of Lazarus' tomb and the women around it weeping and wailing and crying, and he hated it. He just felt angst over death is destructive. John 11. Jesus wept with people. We weep with people. It's okay to cry, especially for you men. He was like, I don't cry. Just kidding. We either weep with people, cry with them when we're praying with them, when we're talking to them, and they're sharing a story that's difficult. We can cry. I always have tissues. Why? Because people cry in counseling. Cry discipling relationships. It's okay to cry with them, and when you're not with them, but you're thinking about them, you're praying with them, praying for them. It's okay to weep. Paul says, Romans 12, 15, rejoice with us, rejoice, and weep with us who. Brother, you got this job, I'm so thankful. Cool, you won the lottery, I'm so thankful. You're growing in Christ, I'm so thankful, rejoicing with you. And what has God blessed you with, and I'm weeping with you that things are hard. I want to show great care for somebody. Even weeping with them when they're not responsive to the word. Weeping with them when they don't want to listen to you. I'm like, who are you, man? Come on. Don't talk to me. Well, typically if they're being like self-indulgent and like they're not like actually going through a super big trial, we're probably not gonna like weep with them. But we're just like maybe confront them on like kind of being super self-indulgent. Yes, it's hard. Life's hard, but you just suck your tongue. You don't see that. But maybe a time for that once we can see it actually. Any questions on that? Just the idea of compassion. Involvement through compassion. That's awesome. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Yeah, so yeah, if somebody's sharing something with us and we're kind of like maybe a little harsh with them, right? And they can sense that, and we just go back to them and humbly say, look, forgive me for not being and understanding, compassionate with you in a very difficult time. Forgive me, and here's what I should do. And even if they're in like sin, we need compassion on them in the midst of that sin, in the sense of we're going to compassion and come alongside them and help them. Galatians 6:1 says, "You are spiritual, restore such one who's caught in trouble. Restore them, so we can come alongside them and be compassionate in that sin." The story where Christ heals the paralytic, his friends drop him down from the roof, and they open up the roof actually, lowered him down, was compassionate on him. He not only healed him, but what did he do first? His friend, your sins are forgiven. This is what you easier say, your sins are forgiven, and rise up and walk. Get up. Yeah, so we humbly go to him and ask for forgiveness. I can do it many times. Actually, I told my wife, sorry, it wasn't again. Sorry, forgive me for not being compassionate with you right now. And do it with a friend, with people in leadership, with people. I'm sorry, forgive me for not being compassionate with you. Okay, now we be careful though. Somebody might confuse compassion with acceptance. Oh, you're not compassionate because you're confronting me in my sin. That has nothing to do with compassion, friend. That has. I cannot accept your sin. I can be compassionate, and that might look like me showing a ton of emotion and like crying, but it could just be in the way I say certain things, and I'm confronting you. So we be careful there. People might confuse and confront us on not being compassionate when it's really we're not accepting their understanding. So did that answer your question? Okay. Yeah, that's a great question. What do we do when we're not compassionate? We repent. Number 2, involvement is developed through showing honor. Showing honor to the council league. 1 Peter 2:7 says, show honor to all men. Showing honor to all men. And guess what? The person you're meeting with is part of all men. They're part of everyone. And the idea of showing honor just means to show reverence and respect and esteem, not self-esteem. I don't think you feel great of himself, but esteem, just like value, reverence, respect to them. Why? Because they are humans. They're made in the image of God. They're image bearers. You would treat them as such. You would treat you as valuable because you're a human made in the image of God. You're more valuable than a dog, than a plant, than a tree, than an earth day. Oh, it's Mother Earth. There's no Mother Earth. It's God. And we need to be wise with our stewardship, but we need to respect and honor people because they're made in the image of God. Whether they're believers or not. Whether they're believers or not. We're going to show more preference to those who are believers. Why? Galatians 6 says to do that. Romans 12:10, Paul says we need to show honor to people. He says outdo one another, actually. Verse 10, be devoted to one another in brotherly love. Give preference to one another in honor. Not lagging behind in diligence, fervent spirit, serving the Lord, and so on. Verse 10 could be translated, outdo one another in showing honor. Being devoted to one another, or outdo one another in showing honor. It's like a holy one-upmanship. Right? Oh yeah, well, I can do one better. Obviously, you need to be prideful about it. But outdoing one another and showing honor to somebody else and preference to somebody else. Again, we're not going to try to value them because of their status or whatever, but because they're humans, and if they're saved because they're in Christ, a person's worth and value is based off of who they are in Christ, not what they do. Not how much money they are, not their social status, not how many ski days they put in. course, in our town, it's, oh man, you skied 100 days, or you skied 125 days. I heard someone say that yesterday. You skied 125 days, and I just thought, like, cool, but like, do you have a job? You like,
Most people who ski that many days work at a village. And that's in
sure, yeah, probably it's true. It's probably what happened. I don't really know this guy, but their value isn't based off of any of that external stuff. It's based off of being in Christ. Being in Christ. If you guys are going through the Whole New God study, which RGC, those three guys are studying this week. Yes, I'm getting multiple emails about it. After the intro, the first week, lesson 1 is all about that. You guys remember that? I know especially it's for you guys, but it's all about that. And helping to see their identity in Christ, showing honor to them in that, just their identity in Christ, right? Yeah. I would want to know, what did he mean by that? Yep. Yeah. There's no completion date on those verses. So when do you stop? Until you die. Well, yeah. Paul says in 1 Corinthians 9, do not, verse 24 through 27, do not know all those who run in a race all run, and only one receives the prize. They do it to receive a perishable wreath, but we an imperishable. Therefore, I run in such a way as not without aim, like not without a goal, like to finish heaven. I box in such a way as not beating the air. Can you imagine a boxer like Muhammad Ali boxing the air? How goofy that would be. And how pointless that is. There's no impact. There's no contact. There's no benefit to beating the air. There's no resistance training even in that. What?
He's like old.
Yes. Okay. Verse 27. But I discipline my body and make it myself, so that when I preach to others, I myself will not be disqualified. The word discipline it has the idea of like pummel, beat, pulverize my body. That doesn't sound like Paul letting up on himself. This is the apostle. He didn't do that. His last final letter to anybody was to Timothy, 2 Timothy 2, says, suffer hardship with him for suffering. A good soldier does not take over himself in the affairs of everyday life. And it pleases the one who listens as a soldier. So I would want to know what something means by that. Like, hey, Andy, you're only sleeping 2 hours a night. Oh, okay. Then you need to change something in your life so you can sleep more than 2 hours a night. Because that's not super good. But however, there are times, George Whitefield, when he was early on in his preaching ministry, he recorded that there were some weeks when he slept an hour a night because everything that was going on, he wasn't there at the time. He preached, he preached a lot. About 10 times a week he would preach. What's that? Yeah, it does. Yeah, being married requires more sleep, but that's the point is we need to be good stewards of our body, but we also need to be very careful. What's the balance? I don't know, and I don't really think it really matters all that much. We just need to be in the Word what does God have for me? What's my situation in life? It's gonna vary, and I need to continually battle my sin, which means which I have to. Then I can't let up on myself and give myself grace. Maybe I need to adjust what I'm doing because maybe I'm too busy in things that don't matter. Sure, then get rid of those things that don't matter, but place that time in things that do matter. Like if I'm always looking after, in this town it's about dogs or trees. So if I'm always spending my time and volunteering with dog ministries or like saving trees, and I'm so exhausted and I barely have time for things of the Lord, then I need to adjust that. Right? But it's not letting up on myself or giving myself more grace. That's a dumb example. I apologize.
And also, I think an aspect of that is that oftentimes, yes, people are realistically hard on themselves. You need to realize that you have your sin, but when you're so anxious over it, you're not acknowledging the immensity of who God is and His character and His grace. So rather than focusing so much on themselves, focusing on God and what He's done, I think a lot of that is just a lack of humility and acknowledging what God has done.
Yeah, I agree. The Bible nowhere says to do that. Anywhere. And Brooks dead on. And we need to be humble. We need to be humble and realize God's done an immense thing. And I need to work on it.
And it's a really good segue to that help them see their identity in Christ.
Yeah, who they are in Christ and who society views them. Part of showing honor to somebody is showing them who you are in Christ. Jared Bridges wrote a good book a number of years ago called Your Identity in Christ. It's very good, it's very short. It's a helpful book on just who am I. I think it's actually called Who Am I or Who I Am. Subtitles like Your Identity in Christ. It's this picture like a mannequin face or something. Put out by Cruciform Press. Jared Bridges. He since passed on his work years ago. Faithful man of God, but yeah, I mean, help me see that.
When there's actions this week,
Mm-hmm.
Ephesians in general is pretty popular, specifically 1 through 12.
Okay, yeah. It's God's sovereign plan. God's sovereignty. Yeah. Good. Great. We'll move on. Third or fourth, whatever this is. Involvement is established through genuineness and honesty. We're not going to be fake people. We want to open up our hearts to people. Sorry, my PowerPoint's off. It's weird. Open our hearts to people. We want to be genuine with them. Paul said in 2 Corinthians 6:11, knowing the fear of the Lord. That's 5. Sorry. 6:11, our mouth has been spoken freely to you, O Corinthians. Our heart is open wide. Verse 12, you are not restrained by us, but you're restrained by your own affections. But it says our heart is open wide to you. We're again sharing His life. There's nothing fake about it. There's a genuineness. There's a reality there of who He is as the pastor. One of the interesting things about early colonial America, the pastors, is oftentimes people would go and look into the homes of the pastors and observe their life. How are they living? That's creepy. If you have to be up on a ladder, that's weird. Yeah. I don't mind if you come over my house. You can come over my house. You can hang out inside the house. You can see how we live. But just don't look at my windows. Yeah. Especially because I'm not there most of the time. But again, it's being real with people, being the same person who we are in the home as who we are in the office. Okay, but some qualifications about opening up our lives, about sharing with people. Sometimes we want to be I know exactly what you're dealing with, and we want to share our hearts with them, and they're probably not mature enough to hear what you're about to say. You're worse off than me. I'm going to go somewhere else. We don't want to do that. Again, we want to make sure we are repenting of our sins so we can help other people learn how to repent. Right? We want to share about our lives. We be real about it. We be genuine in our own repentance. We need to open up our lives in increments. Don't open up all our lives all at once. Use discretion in how we share our own struggles. Don't tell everything that's hard for you. Again, because their maturity level is going to be different than yours. They may not understand. They may not. Again, we're not hiding sin, but they may not understand. Well, I thought you were like perfect, and there's going to be some confusion there. Usually, when I share certain things I'm struggling with, I don't share a lot of specifics. Sometimes I do, depending on what it is. But a lot of times, it's just a lot of more general things. Sometimes it's very specific. Sometimes it's very general, just depending on the person and the situation. Again, and think about who you're sharing this with. Is this a certain kind of person who's going to turn around and share that struggle with somebody else? Is this a gospel? If that's the case, they don't know anything about it. I'm not going to share with them anything specific. Really, a lot of general struggles I have because I can't trust them. We're wise with what we're saying to people. But we don't know. Is this a new believer? Is this a mature believer? Is this a new member? Is this a person who's been in the church for a decade? Who is this person? Use some wisdom with that. But again, we want to be real, genuine people. I struggle too. You struggle with anxiety and depression, you're struggling with this. I get it, man. I hear it. It's hard. Relationships are hard. Finances is difficult in this town. I get it. I'll probably share something about my life. Man, this and this happened. And here's how God used that in my life. I want to share. Yeah, that's hard, and here's what I did. That's not valuable. Here's how this anxiety looked in my life, but here's what God did for me. Here's how God changed me through it. Those of you who know me, I struggled with anxiety for a long time, still struggle with it. There was one point when I almost dropped out of college, and I was a counseling major. Pretty fun. I almost dropped out of college my senior year because I didn't know how to handle it. I was a good counselor, being involved in ministry for years. I'll share that with you to give me hope. I can do this. Why? Because God's more powerful than me. And I'll share them. Here's things that God did with me. And also, I share those things with people because they often think, well, you're the pastor and you have no idea how to get serious. I'm afraid you're wrong. I'm a wretched sinner. Here's the ways in which I am not perfect. Here's the ways in which God has struggled a lot. But yet, here's the ways in which God has used those sins in my life and struggles to grow me and to change me. You can do the same thing. And typically, I've never said anyone give me a perspective. Next. Involvement is promoted through the fruit of the Spirit in the life of you, counselor. Okay? Clear facts. That's odd. Okay, turn to Galatians. Galatians 5. If you look at verse 19 to 20, 21, excuse me, you see the deeds of the flesh. Paul lists a ton of things that, hey, don't do these things. And then maybe you think, oh, I don't do any of those. Yay. But he says, and things like these. He gets you. All these 10 things plus everything else like it. Okay. He says these people aren't going to go to heaven. Then he says verse 22 through 23, the fruit of the Spirit, again, singular. There's a difference between the plural, the deeds of the flesh, and the fruit, singular, of the Spirit. What's the difference there? Other than plural and singular. Not everybody who's an unbeliever in the deeds of the flesh is going to manifest every single one of these deeds of the flesh. They're just going to be unique and different to every person. The fruit of the Spirit, though, everyone who manifests the fruit of the Spirit, everyone who claims Christ through the Spirit, All of those need to be manifested in the believer's life. Perfectly? No. Growing in all of them? Absolutely. But I've had some people say, I'm never a patient person. I've never been a patient person ever in my entire life. You know, your self-control. Okay. What do you mean never? Sometimes it means just because they're not saved, but sometimes it means because they manifest at times, but it's just that one in particular, patience is a bigger struggle than some of the other ones to manifest. And that's okay, fine, you're with me. But the fruit of the Spirit needs to be seen in our lives in order for us to be involved and to gain involvement with somebody to trust us. Why? Because we need to be godly. If we're going to decide with somebody, if we're going to especially do biblical counseling somebody, we need to be godly. We need the examples and the approach. I'm not a pastor, so it doesn't matter. Who cares? What status you have in the church? You can be above the person in the community, right? So the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, self-control. Against such things there is no. So that all those need to be manifested in the life. And so one of the things I like to tell people and give people for homework sometimes is, okay, I want you to pick out or go through the fruit of the Spirit and look at these and say, which one of these is a bigger struggle for me? Which one of these things is maybe a little bit harder for me than something else? So be honest and have somebody else evaluate you. Which one of these is harder for so-and-so to manifest and to live out? And then say, okay, well, why is this important? Why? Because Christ perfectly manifested all these character qualities. So now I need to become more and more like Christ. So this is how I need to be. I need to be evaluating myself on these lines of fruit of the Spirit. When somebody says, are you bearing fruit in your life? What does it look like? It's not how many times you show up to church, not how many chairs you stacked, not how many PowerPoint slides you pushed. Are you manifesting love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, self-control? Are you doing it? By the grace of God. Through the fruit of the Spirit. Why? The Spirit indwells us and will manifest Himself through these things. Anyway, so quick facts there. I'm talking about all believers have the Holy Spirit and are to be controlled by the Holy Spirit. That's the second one. To be controlled by the Spirit means to be controlled by the Word of God. To be controlled by the Spirit, to be led by the Spirit, means to be led by the Scriptures. Why? Because the Spirit wrote the Word of God. 2 Peter 1. Third, if we're controlled by the Spirit, then the fruit of the Spirit must be evident in our lives. One pastor once said, the only evidence of the Holy Spirit in your life is a holy life. Again, there's going to be struggle, there's going to be sin, there's going to be battles with your own flesh every day. But these are the things that need to be evidenced. Again, the importance of having these qualities in our lives as those who are helping other people. Again, it's because it's hard for someone to trust us. Like, excited. You drunk last week? What talking to me for about my alcohol? Who are you? I saw you get angry at church with your kid. Why did you talk to me about my anger? I saw you whatever. X, Y, Z. Manifesting these sort of qualities in my life, something I'm trying to pour into, they're going to notice that people aren't dumb. So sometimes people think I'm dumb. Because they try to hide their sin, and they don't think, oh, pastor doesn't know what I mean. I don't know if he does this, but I can see you. And I tell them that, oh, you can notice that? Yeah, I can see that. And so can everyone else can see that. And yet you're calling people to that. And we need to be careful with that. People observe our lives, whether we want them to or not. So we need to be manifesting these qualities because of just the nature of who we are in Christ. And it helps to build our relationship with somebody. Yeah. I think it's the last Who's the last one? Nope, it's not. 2 more. Involvement is promoted, it's 5th here, through effective verbal communication. Ephesians 4. Great place to go. We'll look at this more in detail in the next class. When we do our marriage and family counseling class at the end of the summer. But verse 25, therefore laying aside all falsehood, speak truth each one of you with his neighbor. Why? For we are members of one another. Verse 29, and let no unwholesome word proceed from your mouth, but only such a word as is good for edification, according to the need of the moment, so that it will give grace to those who hear. Also, verse 15, chapter 4, speak the truth in love. So, effective verbal communication, there's a couple aspects to that. Number one, this is good in content and what I'm saying, in the truth of what I'm saying. I need to speak the truth, verse 25. Speak truth. No unwholesome words. Only words that are going to give grace. Words of edification. Right? And we need to be truthful. We need to not shrink back from declaring the whole counsel of God to somebody just because it's hard. Well, if I say this to so-and-so, they're going to get mad. Maybe. Maybe not. You guys have heard me say this before. One of my first counseling cases ever was with my boss in California. I had to confront him with stuff. I knew if I say this, he's going to get mad. And later I found out, about a decade later, no joke, I was at the Shepherd's Conference. I met with him. He's a great godly man now. He's an elder at a great church. He was talking to Colby. Colby had met with him. I was talking about some ministry opportunities with him. And he's like, so get this, Colby. Is this guy mad? And he comes in and confronts me on stuff, and I spoke at the Bible, and tells me what I'm doing wrong with my marriage. I'm just so angry. People, my family friends are like, how's the counselor going? Oh, I hate him so much. I just want to punch him in the face. He just said that. It's like, oh, are you kidding me? I had no idea you felt that way. He's like, I know you didn't. And at one point, I could tell he was so mad. He didn't do his homework. He was like, okay, how many hours of television, or how many hours of TV did you watch this week? So, well, Thursday, this means how many hours in this day? And this day, every single day of the week. How many hours of TV did you watch? And his wife leans over, yeah, but that doesn't include the hours of video games you played. He didn't tell you that. That's like another 15 hours of TV or of entertainment. I was like, okay. So I asked you to read the Bible 45 minutes. A few other things. Your marriage is about to fall apart. What was your priority? Oh, his face was fuming. I could tell if he could, he would have there. He's a big guy. I would have been knocked out. He's a big guy. He comes to me though the next day at work. I'm in the break room. He's my boss. He's like, look, I understand if you ask your parents for that. You're not doing anything other than telling the truth as well. He's like, I'm angry, but I'm and at that point, it was a turning point. It was so cool. He's a great guy. He's a fun guy. Hopefully we get to partner with him. He works for Children's Hunger Fund down in LA. He wants us to do some training and stuff in Latin American countries. We'll see what we're going to do. But we need to speak truth to people. Okay? And we also need to make sure that people are speaking truthful to us. Oftentimes I like to say in counseling, when starting out, be truthful to me because I can't help you if you're lying to me. Tell me the truth. Be honest with your spouse. Be honest with your roommates. Be honest with people who are around you so that you can better help you. For what? Give them content. For what? Right? Also, effective communication is good in the motivation, the why. So Philippians 2, 3 to 4. Considering others is more important than yourself. That's the idea of Christ's humility. So we too need to be humble in our communication. It's the motivation behind what we say. Again, that's why we can't be fearful of hard things. I may say this and they may leave this counseling room, they may never come back to church. Well, I need to still say this. I still need to be faithful. I can't be afraid to avoid the hard conversations. And people have left before and you go run after them. Also, good communication is good in the how or the manner. The manner, the how. How do I do this? Okay. I'll read some Proverbs here. Proverbs is so full of effective communication tools. Proverbs 15:2. I'll go and read that. The tongue of the wise makes knowledge acceptable, but the mouth of the fool spouts folly. Verse 28. The heart of the righteous ponders how to answer. The mouth of the wicked pours out evil things. So we want to use words of wisdom to make knowledge, the things that we're saying, acceptable to other people. We want to be pondering, how do we answer? Derek.
Yeah, I think about sort of like Eric's last name too. There is a point where you break that off.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
It's like how far you follow somebody or that person. When I say stop it.
Sometimes it's at the point like, don't talk to me. And even then, I'll still talk to you. Like church discipline situations, and pretty much you're done. Right when they're step forward out of the church, you're done. You see them, the conversations are praying for you, love you, come back to Christ. That's it. Counseling situations, people will come to me for counseling, and sometimes they'll just avoid me and then they'll come back to me. And I'll just still email them, send text, and typically I don't ever get a response from them. It's fine. But then I just slowly window that off and let them do it. Because I don't need to spend my time on it. I'm trying to chase after somebody who's not even a sheep. They're a wolf, they're a goat. Not even part of the herd. It's a flock. Is it like a, what's it called, goats? Is that a herd? Goats or goats? Or is it something else weird? It knows like a murder of crows. Like, who makes up these, a gaggle of geese? Anyway. Right? Right, so again, we only want to be wise in how we say things and the words in which we say. Proverbs 16, also 21. The wise in heart will be called understanding, and sweetness of speech increases persuasiveness. One of my children will sometimes kind of be very animated and boisterous in how they say what they want. Okay. I understand you want that. It's not wrong that you want that, but how you're saying it makes me want to say no every time. And I will say no every time. We open this verse and we say, but sweetness of speech increases persuasiveness. So when I'm talking to somebody about sin or an issue in life, we need to understand that our speech needs to be sweet. Not dumbed down, not watered down, but sweet. The way in which our voice is inflected, the calmness. God has given us language for a reason. In verse 24, Proverbs 16 as well. Your pleasant words are a honeycomb, sweet to the soul, and healing to the heart. Brother, I love you. You're in sin. God hates it. Here's these verses. God hates this. I love you. It's supposed to, man, you're a complete idiot. How could you do something so stupid? You see the differences there? Right? There's a big difference in how we are saying it. You know, hey honey, can I talk to you? No. Okay. How's your day? Fine. Do you want to talk? No. Right? Maybe you've never had the conversations with significant other. But when somebody says, are you fine? And they say, yeah, There's something else going on there, isn't there?
Or they say, it's fine.
It's fine. No, it's fine. It's okay. It's not a big deal. The how I'm saying that communicates there's a bigger issue there. And how we're saying it. Not only that, also in timing. 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 The when. Okay, Proverbs 15:23, to make an apt answer is a joy to man, and a word in season, how good it is. Again, the first time you meet with somebody over coffee isn't the time to say, here's the top 20 sins I've seen in your life. Not a good idea. Typically in counseling, and I don't always do this, just depending on the person, especially in marriage counseling,